All right, looks like we're good to go.
Great, fantastic. Thank you. Have an awesome day.
Thank you
Will
so
I
much.
see
You
you
as well,
later?
Sue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have
see you
a good
soon.
day.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Give me my host back. uh, I can
There you
reclaim
go.
her. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Of course, Lester will be joining you soon, just to let you know.
He's awesome. He really is. Shame he's been stuck with all my classes. I think he must be wondering what on earth is going on. Oh, shame.
So funny. All right,
Uh,
Sue, I'll talk to you soon.
okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right. In about 3 minutes, we will be going live. Once my students start arriving, the guests that I have in my class. So I will see you all in about 3 minutes. Me. Morning, Lester. Can you hear me? Okay, I hope you can hear me. I have made you co-host, so that should be okay. Right. Welcome. Thanks for coming into class. You seem to be visiting all my strange and wonderful topics. Um, it's Hi, morning, Lester. Lovely to have you in class.
Hi. Yeah, nice.
Hi.
Yeah, we met again. Yeah, I'll be a
Yeah.
TA for today, and then the other class we'll be having later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Shame you've been landed with all my weird and wonderful classes that I do.
Yeah.
Very
I've enjoyed
different.
all your classes so far, and I'm
Oh, well,
glad that
good.
to be part of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, today I'm doing something kind of risky because last time I did this one, I did some experiments, but I turned my screen down and it didn't work too well. And I ended up with oil all over my lap. So this
Mhm.
time I'm doing something and I'm holding it up here. I'm just hoping they can see it.
Oh,
I'm doing miniatures of what I
oh,
should
that's
do
nice. You can
because
just tilt the camera down so they can see it better.
well, not really, because my camera is part of my computer. So
Oh yeah,
as soon as
that's
I tilt it downwards, it ends up with everything changing. So, but no, I've made miniatures this time. I'm doing things in little containers like this, so that I can
oh,
just hold it like this for
mm,
them, because otherwise I'm going to end up being covered in oil again. It's not,
that's right.
not a
Yeah.
good idea.
I think it's gonna
But
work though.
yeah, no, look, I've tried it and it does, and it looks like you can see it. So
Yeah.
we just take it as it goes,
Yeah, we'll just
because
wait for
I'm
them.
sharing my screen, they are only seeing a little mini me at the top corner.
Okay.
But at least even that, there's just enough for them to be able to get the idea of what we're doing.
Right. Right.
So yeah, we've got a variety of interesting things, and if you've got kids, you could have some fun with what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, do you have children, Lester?
Oh, I have one.
Mhm. How old?
Only 5 years old.
5. That's perfect.
Yeah.
What we're doing today, he or she will love. Because even my little 2.5-year-old grandson loves what we do. So yeah, no, it's perfect. The older children obviously want to know why and the things like that. The younger ones are just going wow when they see things. So that's how we go. And so it works according to age. The wow factor is different according to the different ages, but it's using things we've got at home like milk and food coloring and dishwashing liquid and things like that. So it's all homegrown stuff. We're not going out and buying fancy things in order to do experiments. Oh, here comes Ryan. Welcome, Ryan. Lovely to have you in class. If you'd like to let me know either by telling me or by typing in where you are from, it would be nice to know um, where you come from. There are supposed to be 8, or I think, in the class today. So we will certainly. Hi. Oh, from Los Angeles. Lovely. Welcome. Nice to have you in class, Ryan. I hope you will be able to enjoy doing some of the experiments. Even I've had fun playing with the experiments. So you can be any age to work with the different things that we are doing today. I'd like to just wait a few more minutes before. Here comes Melinda. Welcome, Melinda. Lovely to have you in class. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Hi. And whereabouts are you from, Melinda?
I'm from the Chicago area.
Chicago. Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, all of you are in a different time zone to us. So what time is it now, Melinda?
It is a little after 9 p.m.
Okay, because it's just after 10 a.m. for me the next day. I'm way ahead of you. So yeah. So what would you like to get out of this lesson? Why have you come to find out?
Well, I have a 3-year-old grandson, and I'm
Mm.
just looking for ideas of things to do with him.
Well, I've got a 2.5-year-old grandson, and he loves most of what we're doing today. It's just wow, and he just wants to do it again and again. So
Oh,
I think you'll be able to find some fun things to do. So we will see how it goes. I'm doing miniature versions of the experiment. I in my last class, I tried to do bigger ones, and I ended up with stuff all over me. So that really wasn't a good idea at all. So that didn't work. So now we'll do miniatures of all the different ones. All right. So we do expect others to come in, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to start sharing so that we can get going. We have Lester with us today. He's my TA, and he'll be watching if there's anything that you say on chat. But I would really like you to stay open and just chat as we go along, because it's so much easier that way than having to look for the chat box and see if somebody said something in the chat box. So
oh, sure. Okay. Thank you.
let's have a look at what we're doing today. Today, we are going into simple experiments with grandkids. So these are all things that you have at home. They're all things that you use every day, so you don't have to go out and buy fancy things. I think the only thing I went out and bought was a pipette, and I found it in the craft shop. I found a little bag of them. It's just easier to put a drop of something in with this rather than trying to pour food coloring in. It can be a little messy. While if you've got that, it's easy to do it with that. So let's have a look. As you know, we learn from each other, and I love to get ideas from others as well. Um, you can also request a recording after the class. Oh, hang on, I've got to just turn live. No, I'm going to have to just go out for a second because I need to start recording. Stop
Oh, yes.
sharing. I want to record it. Otherwise, you can't ask for a recording if I haven't recorded it. So there we go. We're now recording. Let's go to screen share and go back into it this way. If I don't do it this way, I end up not being able to see myself. And that can be very difficult when you are doing experiments. Right. Now, yes, you can request a recording after the class, and you can also learn different things, and all the experiments I do, I send to you in an email afterwards. So you are able to use them and see them and do them. Oh, as I say, we're not paid to promote any specific product. If it's a product that I happen to show the name of, it's not an intentional thing. It doesn't come as a kickback to us. Right, a little bit about me. I live in Perth, Australia. I've been an educator for 44 years, so I've done lots of experiments with lots of children, including my own grandchildren. I enjoy creating and making things, including puzzles. I love animals. That's why I do my animal series. And I really enjoy being a guide at Get Set Up. I keep changing my presentations because I find other things that I think are more interesting. And so everything then changes again. Now, we're going to be doing experiments using oil, water, milk. We're going to make some marbled gift wrap. We're going to use balloons. We're going to make a jellyfish in a bottle, which is my granddaughter's favorite because this just keeps on going. And we're going to do balloon power. I'm going to show you how you can actually put your grandson in a balloon. And that is awesome. They love that. So here are just some of the experiments that we're going to be playing with today. So let's begin. What we need for the experiments, and this includes all of them. I don't think I've left anything out. I have left balloons out. A glass jar, a Pyrex dish, because you're making it bigger. I'm going to do little miniatures in lids, but you can do it as a miniature for your grandchildren in lids. It doesn't have to be really big. You can do it in smaller containers. A few little glass bottles, some eyedroppers or straw or pipette, some cotton wool balls and some Q-tips. Baby oil or vegetable oil. Baby oil does not work as well as vegetable oil. It's clearer, but it doesn't work as well. The experiments are finished very quickly that way. Water, milk, and food coloring. So as you can see, you've basically got everything you need in your house at any time. Now, let's look at oil and water. You put some vegetable oil in a bottle. Just find a nice side of the bottle so you can see. And into that oil, you are going to put a few drops of food coloring that you have put into a little bottle of water. So I've got blue food coloring. I put a tiny bit of water, a little bit of food coloring. You need the food coloring so that you can see the water. Because otherwise the water being translucent, you won't see it. So the food coloring enables you to see the water. I've got blue and I've got yellow. Red also works well. I just don't have any red at the moment. And yesterday, I don't know, the time ran away. I didn't get out to get it. So taking your bottle of oil, open it without putting it all over myself. You've got your bottle of oil. You take your pipette and you put some food coloring into your pipette, and then you drop those drops into the oil. At first, they will float on the top, but after a few minutes, they will start floating further into the water. Let me get the yellow ones. Fetch myself some yellow ones. Drop some yellow ones on the top. There, they start going. Whoa. And now you've got all these little bubbles of color floating on the top and dropping to the bottom. But they shouldn't. They should mix with the oil. but they don't. And you can put the lid on the bottle and turn the bottle upside down, and then these bubbles will go up and down, and eventually they will burst. But it gives them so much fun to see all these little bubbles floating around. And of course, the more colors you've got, the more excited they get about these bubbles. And you can almost fill your oil with all these little bubbles that are going up and down in the water. Very simple experiment, but they do love watching it. As I say, eventually it'll pop and you'll get color at the bottom. Then what I do is I transfer the oil to a different bottle, leaving just a little bit with all the color in it, throw that out, and then I can use that oil again and again. So it's very economical, and the more colors, there's a color called unicorn, and that color comes out different every time you put a blob in. And that is also awesome. I finished my unicorn too the other day, and I forgot to get. The second one, would you like to try that experiment with your grandson? Melinda, sorry.
Oh, yes, definitely. I could see him really having a good time with that.
Absolutely. And the more drops he puts in, the more colors come. And of course, if you can get green, blue, yellow, red, and you use food coloring when you're doing things, then you've got a really good variety for him to see these colors all landing in. And they love it. And as I say, it's just a little water and food coloring. The coloring is to show up the water. So it's very, very easy. The second one we're going to do is we're going to work with milk. I'm going to put some milk in the bottom of this little black container here, just enough milk to cover the bottom. I'm hoping you can see the milk. Yes, you can. That's great. And then into that, you are going to put, I'm only putting one color just so that it's easy for you to see what it does, but you can put a variety of colors. You take your pipette and you fill it with neat food coloring. Well, it's not even fill it, just put some neat food coloring into it and drop it anywhere in the milk, middle, side, edge, wherever. Then taking a Q-tip with some dishwashing liquid on it, you're going to put it into the milk. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see what happens there. Oh, the pattern is beautiful. It makes a variety of, as you touch the Q-tip down, so the color spreads in every direction. I've now got multicolor milk. You can't see it as prettily as I would like to see. I wonder if I'm going to just try one thing. If you can see it, there's my multicolor milk.
Yes.
And as I touch the Q-tip, so it changes.
Oh.
Every time you put the Q-tip in, it moves, the color moves.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So if you've got a variety of colors, it's amazing. You then end up with this amazing collection of colors. Just want to put that down over there. Right. So you can see it's very easy to just do that. And then using exactly the same idea, using your milk, you will then do a second one where you put all the colors in the center. You actually mix the colors in the center. You put 3 or 4 different colors in the center. Then you take a cotton wool bud, also with dishwashing liquid on it, and drop it in the center. And the colors run as far away as they possibly can. You just have this explosion of color taking off to the edge. And it is quite amazing to see. So, and then if you pick it up and you maybe move it to a different spot, the colors will all flee away and go in another direction. And so you end up with this gorgeous collection of colors going in different ways. Eventually the milk goes brown because it's, I wouldn't drink it because it's got some dishwashing liquid, but you really use a minimal amount of milk. So it really doesn't affect that badly. You're not wasting as such. I don't like to waste, but if I can do something like that, it works very well indeed. Having had an accident last time, I'm being careful this time. I ended up with oil all over my lap. My husband heard me going, ah, and he came running and took everything away from underneath me. So
Oh,
he just finished his lesson on Get Set Up, and so he very quickly came to my rescue, which was awesome.
yes, I can imagine.
Oh, yeah. We rescue each other occasionally. When I'm not if I'm not presenting, I can hear what he's saying, and he can hear me when he's not presenting. So if we hear sort of something in what they're saying doesn't sound right, you go and find out quickly. Right. Now, fireworks in a glass is also awesome. You're just using, again, your oil and food coloring and warm water. I can't do that one here because I don't have the warm water available to me. But what you do is you clean your glasses and you put warm water into one glass until it's about a quarter full. So it's just got a little. In the other glass, you add a few spoonfuls of oil and you drop and drops of food coloring. So you've got your oil and your drops of food coloring. You add the food coloring to the oil, basically as we did before when we had our droplets, and then you use a fork and you mix. And then the colors, they just race all over the place. And of course, the balls split and you get this fireworks display going on, and you take the fork out and it continues to move. So it looks like you've got an absolute fireworks going on in the glass, and the kids love it. Because you pour the oil mixture into the glass of warm water. And as you do that, there's just everything everywhere. It's amazing. I used a big beer mug for the water and the oil, and the kids all sat around going, wow, whoa, look at that one. That one's going, oh, hell, look at that one up there. That one's going that way. And they, even my 12 and 14-year-old granddaughters, really enjoyed it as well. So it doesn't matter how old you are, you will still have fun with it. I enjoyed putting it together in the first place. And this weekend, I will be going to my granddaughter here in Australia, because I come from South Africa. I was born there and lived there for 63 years, then moved to Australia 3 years ago to look after my grandchild. And she's going to be with her dad at his girlfriend with her daughters, and I intend doing these experiments with them on Monday. And they're all different ages, from little to big, and I think they're all going to have fun doing them. So you can do it with any age. My little grandson is a virtual grandson. He is in South Africa. So daddy gets everything ready on that side. I have everything ready on this side. And then we do the experiments together. And he loves it. And it's a good bonding time with me, because there's no chance of me seeing him. But this is one way of seeing him, is to be able to do these with him. Now, the M&M rainbow is gorgeous. You can use M&Ms, you can use Smarties, you can use any sweet where you have it has a food coloring on the outside. Now, all you do is add a tiny bit of water to it so that the water touches the M&Ms. Where's my water gone? And then it takes a little bit of time before it starts to work, because the food coloring obviously has to come off the, oops, I put too much, I put too much. Let me get rid of some of this water. Too much water, far too much water. Oh, we take all the water out and start again, I think. Probably the safest way. That was just too much water. My bottle's too big for the size of my container. I'll use a pipette. That's a better idea. I'm just putting enough water so that the water reaches each of them. The water needs to reach all of the this. And then it takes a little bit of time, but you can already see, I've got one problem here. There's no water in the center here. There we go. You can already see the color is starting to come. Oops, where am I? There. The color's already starting to come off them. And they slowly pull into the center. And in the end, you get this beautiful, colorful array that you've got now, what you can see there. And all the colors go into the center because usually a plate goes down in the center. And so all the colors go down into it. And it really is so pretty as they all pull into the center. Well, after a while, it will go brown because then the colors start to mix. But at the beginning, it is really beautiful as they go down. So that's another lovely experiment. And of course, then they can eat the M&Ms or the Smarties afterwards. So for them, it's a double bonus. But a very, very simple experiment, watching colors flow. So, Melinda, will you try that with your grandson?
Yes. I love that. That's beautiful. And he loves his colors now. So these are all, he'll love these.
Yeah, and sometimes it goes in little rivers, sometimes it goes in quite fat. It changes as you go along as to how it goes. Mine are really starting to make some very pretty little rivers. I'm just going to let it make it more defined. Maybe it's enough. Picking it up is not a good idea. Let's go to the container. Can you see the colors starting to mix?
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so the colors mix beautifully and they come to the center. If you're using a big container, it's really nice. A bigger plate. You don't have to have your things too far apart. You can bring them closer and closer. Last night I did it on a plate and I only made it that size on the white plate and it worked beautifully. So depending on how many M&Ms or how many Smarties you want him to eat, you make your circle. And the other nice thing is the color comes off the bottom. You can redo the experiment by turning them over. And then the color runs off the other side. So you get 2 goes with one Smartie or one M&M.
Yes.
And that's also very good to be able to do. So that works well. Now, this is an interesting one. If you can get hold of shaving cream, I found it quite difficult to lay my hands. My husband uses shaving gel and that didn't work as well. But shaving cream, you put a very, very thin layer of shaving cream. And I really mean a thin layer, just enough so that when you take a fork, you can run the tines of the fork to make patterns. What you do is you lay out your shaving cream. I used a knife, a palette knife, just to flatten it. Then you put some drops of food coloring on top. And then taking your fork, you draw patterns with your fork in the shaving cream. That takes the color all over the place. So the colors then start making lines and rivulets. Take your piece of paper after that and just put your piece of paper on top and press on it to sort of smooth it out. Leave it only for a couple of seconds almost. Take it back up and then wipe it with a tissue or paper towel gently. And you end up with, I did just 2 colors and I ended up with a really interesting design and pattern. I then put it on a second time and I got a different pattern as well. So you can use it twice. I've used it twice here. I got that one. Then I did it a second time and I got a different one altogether. So then you can use this to make a box or to make paper or wrapping paper or a little package to give a present to mummy. Anything like that. In one of my classes, it's a tin can and paper class, we make a box, which a 5-year-old can do. I used to do it with 5-year-olds in my classroom, and they can do it very easily because it's only four folds and they've got a box. So it's not something intricate. There's no sticking or gluing. You can actually tear or you can cut one. You have one cut in it or one tear in it. But other than that, it's very, very simple. And they love making those boxes. So having made that paper, they can turn that paper into a box. And then that box becomes the new thing, the present that they give to mom. So all in all, they can do a variety of things, starting with one, which then becomes something else, which then becomes something else. So it's just a fun way of doing things. And you can end up with some really beautiful things depending on how many colors you put into it. All right, simple, easy, and fun. The kids love playing with the shaving cream. They think that's awesome, making their patterns in the shaving cream. All right, now this one you'll have to help him with to create it, but once it's created, it's done for life. What you do is you take a small plastic bag and push your finger into the plastic bag so that it's got like a little bubble. You tie some string or some cotton around it, and then the rest of the plastic bag you slice so that you get little legs. But you really only need maximum 8 legs, even 6 is enough. You just need some things to hang down, and the rest of the plastic bag you cut off just below where you've tied, and discard it. Then turning the little bubble that you've made upside down, you then add a little bit of water to the bubble. If you don't want to undo what you've put in there, the cotton that you've tied it with, use a pipette to just very carefully squeeze the water in through the little hole and leave an air bubble at the end. There must be a little air bubble in it. Then you take a bottle with some water in it. That was very silly of me. I'll use this. You take a bottle with some water, color the water, and then you push your jellyfish into the bottle. Now, when you turn your bottle upside down, I'm going to put a light underneath it so you can see it. There goes my jellyfish. He's heading up to the top. And now when I turn it upside down, my jellyfish starts going up. I don't know if you can see my jellyfish going up and down. He goes to the bottom.
Yes.
There he goes down to the bottom. And then we turn him over. And he turns over, and there goes my jellyfish.
There
up
he
to
is.
the top. And my one granddaughter, every time she arrives at the house, the first thing she does is goes to my jellyfish, and she'll play with it for good 10, 15 minutes. Then it goes back on my shelf and off she goes to do something different. But she really enjoys playing with the jellyfish. She finds that jellyfish, I don't know what happened there. Not quite sure how we got to there. Sorry, let me just quickly find out where I lost myself for a second. I touched my computer and everything moved. Right, now balloons. Balloons are awesome. You can do so much with balloons. I've got a water bottle and I've put a little bit of vinegar at the bottom of the water bottle. I've taken a balloon. I've put a funnel onto the balloon and I've added 4 teaspoons of baking soda onto it. I'll now take it off there. Take the lid off my bottle. I'm now going to put the balloon over the top of the bottle. Now, be careful not to let the stuff that's at the bottom get into the bottle yet. So I'm just making sure that this is safely over the top. There we go. It's now over the top. There it is. It's on the bottle. Now I tip this up. Ooh, I hadn't put it on enough. I hadn't put it on enough. There we go. There goes my balloon. But it's also going on my floor. So maybe I'll take my balloon off. You must make sure your balloon is safely onto the lid. That was my error. So I've ended up with an interesting pile on the floor. I now have a balloon that has been blown up and I can just tie it and they can play with the balloon afterwards. Or they can release the balloon and refill the balloon with more of the powder and start all over again. So it's an awesome way of blowing up. But as I say, make sure it is fully over the top of the lid. Then you won't make the error I made. Right. Now, it's trial and error. That's part of the fun of experimenting. If you make a mistake, it's an oops, oh dear, let's fix. And never, when you're doing things and you don't want the children to get anything on them, rather than giving them an apron, aprons are useless. They may cover a little in the front, and that's about as far as it goes. I use a dustbin bag, usually a white or green one. They don't really like the black ones. Cut a slit in the side, the top that is sealed, and then cut a little slit down at the front or the back. It pulls over their head, 2 little armholes, and they're covered from head to foot. Then it doesn't matter. No matter where they touch with their hands, they don't mess on their clothes. So that works like a dream. Right, so that is a wow one. You can blow a really big balloon with just vinegar and baking soda. It's the same sort of thing as doing a volcano, but this is a quicker and easier one for them to watch, to see this balloon just expanding and expanding and expanding as they go along. So now, what we have next is another form of balloon magic. You take a balloon and you put either a penny or an Australian dollar or $2 in through the top of the balloon, and you push it in. You might have to help them because the neck of the balloon is quite tight. So you've kind of got to wiggle it down until it is in the balloon. Once it's in the balloon, you blow up the balloon and you tie it off. Now, start to shake the balloon. The penny will spin round and round and round inside the balloon. All you're doing is shaking, but it is making it revolve round and round inside. Also, if you throw the balloon from one to the other, normally it's very easy. You toss and the balloon kind of floats up and floats down, not with the penny in it. It goes in any direction. So that is also fun. Unfortunately, the balloon pops quite soon. Because of what the penny is doing inside to the air, it does not last long. And if it touches the ground, there's an almighty burst. So warn everybody around, particularly grandpas if they are around, that there's going to be some balloons going off so that they don't get a fright. But it's a lovely one to do, and to see this penny spinning round inside is amazing. I used a white balloon so that they could actually see the penny inside very clearly, and it worked very nicely indeed. Just another fun thing to do with grandchildren. Now, the last one that we're going to be doing is making a bubble that is big enough for you to be able to stand in it and strong enough. There is a gentleman who has devoted the last 10 years to finding out and making a solution that he can actually put 10 people in a balloon. His balloons are known worldwide, but he has given out some of his secrets, and part of it is this. So there are many ways you can have fun with your balloon. You can with your bubbles. You need to use good quality dishwashing liquid, some glycerine and water. That's it. Let it stand. That is part of the secret, is to, once you've mixed it, don't use it straight away. Let it stand for a day even. A couple of hours is fine. Then what you can do is you can start to either put some of the mixture onto a baking tray, take a straw, put the straw onto it and start blowing. And it builds a tower. The bubbles come up around the straw, higher and higher and higher around the straw, and they don't pop. Because of this mixture, it is so much stronger, so it doesn't pop. You can blow bubbles through the tines of your cooking utensils. You can take a bottle, cut the bottom off it, just put some tape around it because it's quite sharp, and then they can just blow into that. You can even put a top, make a little top over it where the bubbles can come through. You can experiment with what you're doing. You can make square bubbles, actual square bubbles. When you make that little shape at the top there, and I've done it, you make the shape at the top, and then you blow into it. You will actually blow out a square bubble, not a round bubble. So it's really interesting and fascinating. Then you can use 2 pieces of bamboo or any other string that you've got, sticks that you've got, and you make it big, because now you want to make a really big bubble. You cut it 1 meter, 1 piece of string 1 meter across, and another string that is just bigger than 1 meter, 1.2, and you tie those on. Then you trail that through the mix, and then you start just moving in the wind, and these enormous bubbles start appearing, and they really are big and beautiful. The kids love them. And then you can also make a little small one with 2 straws. You put it in, and then you run with the 2 straws as well, almost like a kite. And as you pull your hand through, so the bubbles just go. You can also blow into it, and you suddenly blow these absolutely enormous bubbles. To have your grandchild stand in a bubble, you get your shell that you usually put your sand in or water in, put some of the mix in there, and use a hula hoop. You put the hula hoop into the mix, and as you lift the hula hoop, so the balloon grows with it, the bubble grows, and the child is actually standing inside a bubble. And they love that. They think it is so awesome to be actually inside the bubble. The bubble mix is really strong. It's quite amazing. And so you can really have so much fun out in the garden with your bubbles, because I don't know if your grandson's like my grandson and my granddaughters. Even at the age of 10, they love blowing bubbles. My little grandson of 2.5 adores his bubbles. He'll go out and run with his bubbles and see what he can do just with the little one. I haven't tried this with him yet. That'll be my next experiment with him, will be making bubbles. And I think he will really enjoy that. So there are so many different things you can do. You can experiment by using pipe cleaners and making triangles, squares, 3D, 2D, and putting the mixture into that and blowing. You end up with amazing things. So it's well worth trying. What do you think, Melinda?
Oh, he'll love this. Yeah, he loves bubbles. So, yeah, this will be fun to do this summer.
Oh, absolutely. Summertime, best time to do it. Have some fun outside. Go and play, go and do. But yes, it really is an amazing thing that is so simple, so easy, and yet can give you hours of enjoyment. You can even take the bubble containers that they buy, empty out the bubble mix, let him finish the bubble mix that's in there, and put your bubble mix in, and you'll get these gigantic bubbles coming out of this. So you can change his, you can't go back to the old bubble soap, because when he buys a new one and all these little tiny bubbles come out, he's going to be very disappointed. But you can always have them as grandma's secret bubbles. And only grandma knows that secret, nobody else. So sorry that you buy them at the shops. The shops don't have grandma's secret. You can only have those when you use grandma's secret mixture. And then that becomes something really special for him too. All right. I hope you had some ideas that you can use as you go along. I'm hoping that you will be able to have some things. If there's anything you'd like more to know about or to do, or any ideas as to the sort of classes you'd like to see, please won't you do the feedback so that I know that I'm on the right track. I've now got 18 different classes that I do. I'm trying to make it as varied and as many varieties as I can, so that there's lots of interesting things for people to do, both for adults and for children, not just for children along the way. When I do my recycling, that is adult and children. I have a children's section and an adult section. So it's for everybody. And so that is also awesome. But thank you so much for being in class. If you want a copy of the recording, it's at help@getsetup.io. I will send you your email afterwards with all the different experiments, so you'll be able to have them and use them. And then some of the other ones I do is boredom busters. That goes from littlies up to the older ones. Each thing can be taken downwards or upwards according to the age. Create from waste and cooking with grandma, snacks and cooking. So all simple things, very easy, fun things to do. So thank you very, very much. I'm going to stop sharing now. Is there anything that you would like to say?
I just really appreciate all your ideas. They're wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'll be looking for your other classes.
Oh, good. My cooking with grandma is in an hour's time. But every day I have two classes. The new list of classes for April is not up yet. It should go up this weekend, and that'll be all the classes for April. So by the end of this weekend, there should be, I think there's 53 different classes that you can choose from. So that should help you to find some things that you like.
Yes, yes, this is so nice. Thank you again. I really enjoyed it. Now I've
No,
got some new ideas.
That's the whole idea. And then you take those ideas and try something else. And if this does this, why can't I do that? And you then start, like, for instance, the bubbles. You've got them, if you let them go through the spatula that's got the holes, that makes it. What other thing have I got around the house that I might be able to use that we can blow bubbles through? That will maybe make a different type of bubble. And so you get just as interested as your grandchild, and you get interested in what you're doing. Well, thank you so much, Melinda, and thank you, Lester, for being with us. Much appreciated. Great to have you, and lovely to have everything. And I look forward to seeing you again, Melinda, in some of the other classes. Have a great day.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again too. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Bye for now.
Bye.